Hey everybody, welcome to Ready Set Drone. Pretty psyched today to have the DYS ELF FPV Racer. It's a kind of tiny whoop style indoor racer, or outdoors if there's not a lot of wind. It is completely ready to fly, meaning that it has remote control, batteries, everything that comes with it. The only thing you're going to need are a pair of 5.8 gigahertz goggles. I'm going to use my Omways today, but you can also use Fat Sharks, Kylans, other 5.8s. But let's check it out. Everybody's gone right now. I'm home alone, so I'm going to fly it around the house and see how it does. So stay tuned. So first of all, thanks to GearBest for providing this racer for us to check out on Ready Set Drone. I'm going to add a link in the description where you can go buy it on GearBest, so you can check that out, and they'll have the full specifications and other reviews on their site, so well worth checking out. But in the meantime, you are going to see how I like it. So let's put the box aside for a moment and go ahead and get to the main heart of it. Now, this is cool because it is a totally ready to fly kit. It's also brushless, which is going to give you higher quality motors, more longer lasting motors, probably a little bit more speed motors on the motors. And there it is right there. So like I said, it's 83 millimeters. That usually means diagonally from motor to motor. So, about 8.3 centimeters from there to there. They're fully ducted, meaning that they have these guards all the way around them. Pretty solid feeling. It's got a decent amount of weight for a quad this small, which always to me means that there's lots of electronics and technology and just goodness in this thing that's going to make it fly better. I wouldn't call this a cheap beginner one at all. I think it's a little bit higher grade than that, more like a tiny whoop. Comes with this charger. This is the US version. The box also had this converter for non-US plugs, so you would just plug that in here and use it. This is actually handy for me because sometimes I get quads that don't have a US plug, and so I'm going to hold on to this and use it for when I need to plug those in. Of course, this brick right here will take, I believe, 110 or 220, so it doesn't matter if it's what voltage the outlet is. It's going to work on either. That's why this is so big. It comes with the remote control, of course, which is good sized, decent feeling remote. It's got lots of little sticks, so I'll have to look and see what each of these do. I'm sure there are different flight rates and other things like that. And then some trim buttons, and it's actually got a little LCD screen down here, so you can probably do a little bit of setup on that. So we'll see how that goes. No visible antenna, but decent quality little remote. It comes with a, this battery is a, let's see, it's a 2S 25C 600 milliamp hour battery. So decent little size battery for a quad this size. Usually they're about half this size, and they're usually a 1S. So this should give you a little extra flight time and a little more kick when you're flying. So let's set that aside. It's got 4 spare props. Now the props are interesting because they're actually 5-blade props, which you don't see that often. You see 2-blade, you see 4-blade, you see 3-blade. I haven't seen a whole lot of 5-blade props, but they're a clear kind of green plastic, which is cool. The camera is up here in the front, and it looks pretty well protected by this housing, and I imagine you can plug this in and do some tuning on it in clean flight and such, and beta flight. I'm just going to try flying it straight out of the box today to see how it does without any additional setup, so I'll set that aside. And then it does not come with goggles, so I've got my Omway goggles here, which I've really been liking. These things have diversity with 2 antennas. They are not quite as sharp looking as the Fat Sharks, but I find that they have a little less dropout in the signal, and they definitely are comfortable. So I've been flying with these a fair amount recently and really liking them. So I'm going to use those. So I was just looking at the switch configuration here. This is switch A, and this is what will disarm and arm the drone. It looks like down is disarmed and up is armed, so I'm going to start with the down. Switch B is your flight mode, so angle is up, horizon is middle, and manual or acro is down. Angle's the easiest, good place to start. Horizon's going to give you a little more play, and then acro or manual is going to be full-on manual, and so you really got to know what you're doing. So we're going to start in angle, and then I'll switch to horizon and give that a shot. Third switch is for your on-screen display. It's going to switch. It's going to switch your on-screen display on and off, so it's going to give you information about the quad, like the battery level and such. And then this is looking like a beeper here, so if you lose the quad, it's going to beep. I was also going to tell you that this is a FR Sky compatible transmitter receiver. So it's a FR Sky receiver. If you have an FR Sky radio, you might be able to actually fly it with this. Oh, and there's the USB port right in the back. So if you're going to do clean flight or anything on this, you can plug it in via that USB port in the back. So it does have the ability to change the channel on the video transmitter, which is nice. So if you're flying with friends and you want to switch to a different channel, you can do so. And let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and plug this guy in. Make sure I'm plugging it in the right way. So the one with 2 wires is your power plug. The other one's your charging balancing plug. And now I'm going to take a look. And currently I don't see any signal, but let me click through the channels. There it is. Alright, so I don't know if you can see the signal, but I'm going to try switching the OSD switch. Okay, so the OSD switches to different modes. You can actually get an artificial horizon when you switch a certain way. It gives you the battery level, it gives you whether the motor's armed or disarmed, and it gives you an artificial horizon depending on where you have it switched. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, let's see how these things do flying around the house. Okay. Alright, there we go. There's a nice hover. We're going to fly it back to the living room. I'm going to set it down for a second. So, as I said, the yaw rate is just super fast. I probably need to see if I can slow that down a little bit. And then also, it seems to be a little bit drifting to the left and back, so I'm going to use the trim to trim it right and forward just a little bit. So, back here, make sure the battery's seated correctly. All right, so I'm going to trim it right and forward just a little bit. Alright, so I just hit the trim buttons a couple times. Let's see if that makes it hover a little bit more steady. I will say the FPV signal is really clear. I'm loving that. Yeah, there's my head. Okay, so I'm outside now. This thing is really fast and has a lot of power, and I was doing okay with it indoors, but I feel like it might be just fine in a little bit of wind out here because it's got so much power, and it'll give me a little more space to practice. So I'm going to try it again out here in the backyard and see if I can fly it for a bit without running into anything. Hopefully I can. So let's go ahead and aim it out that way and give it a shot. Wow, I'm going to tell you, this thing is a beast. It's brushless, it's got a 2S battery, and you know, for this size of a quad with a 2S battery, it just goes. The yaw rate is insane, and again, I think I can change that in Clean Flight, or probably even in the controller. There's some settings, but I'm just going with the factory settings. So you really got to take it easy when you're yawing. And the speed, you start going forward and all of a sudden you're going way faster than you were expecting. It must have a pretty good size video transmitter, because the video transmission is crystal clear. It's one of the clearest I've seen. Now I'm using the Omways, and I've got 2 antennas on them, and I have a feeling this directional antenna was working pretty well, but really should have really good footage on the recording on those. This thing is definitely my new favorite micro FPV quad. It is great to fly around out here in the backyard. I have a feeling it'll be better inside the house once I get a little better at it. So I'll put a link in the description for this thing. Definitely, it's the ELF. I would definitely check it out, look at other reviews, see what other people have to say about it. But me personally, I really like it. I feel like it's probably going to be my new go-to practice FPV quad for the backyard, because it's so small, you're not going to hurt anybody with it, built-in prop guards, and it's really rugged. I've crashed it quite a few times today already, and it's done just fine. So check it out. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up or the like button. If you really like it, please subscribe. That helps us do more videos, and we will see you next time on Ready Set Drone. Thanks for watching.